Hello! For my project, the community-based issue that I touched on was the hunger in Southwest Florida. 151 people are struggling with hunger. With the help of my community partner, Camps Memorial Garden, people and families are able to enjoy healthy and free foods through Harry Chapman Bank that were grown in this community garden. My group's SDG goal was to focus on life on land, and a couple roadblocks that I did face were just the time period of the project. I feel as though I did not have enough time to make the great impact that I wanted to make. Throughout the time of my service, the plants were still growing and weren't able to harvest, so what I did was maintain the garden with some weeding and watering, which was something new that I enjoyed. Civically engaged skill that I used to make me a more civically engaged citizen was critical thinking. I learned that in this area, hunger was an issue, but I thought deeper and thought of it in a way of the issue of it being hunger in America. A bag of fresh cherries can cost up to $10, while a Happy Meal can cost up to $3. This is a deeper issue than just Southwest Florida. From this project, I learned about the issues in the new area that I am in, how necessary it is for community gardens and other community members to donate food and have food banks for the ones that need it out here. This project really opened my eyes and made me see that I want to be a person that can help the ones who really need it more than just living my everyday life. And I'm very excited to start using civically engaged skills and civically engaged techniques to become a better citizen.
Hi, my name is Jessica Averett, and this is my civic engagement project. For my project, I volunteered at Camps Memorial Garden, and the sustainable development goals my project addressed were number 2, zero hunger, and number 15, life on land. Primarily, Camps Memorial Garden seeks to eliminate hunger throughout the local community by growing fresh, homegrown foods and then delivering them to a local food pantry, being the Gladiolus Food Pantry. They also practice environmental sustainability when growing food, as well as teaching other community members how to grow their own food. This cause is important because the first step in creating change is starting with those around you. According to Harry Chapman Bank by www.winknews.com, they have reported more than 151,000 people in Southwest Florida are struggling with hunger. When interacting with the members of the Camps Memorial Garden, I learned that the garden initially was intended for community members who did not have access to plots of land so they could use the gardens as they please. It was then suggested by one of the members of the organization to grow food using the garden, then provide everything grown to those in the community who need it. This is when community members from all around started to volunteer for the cause, and the garden began to expand and with time will continue to expand. The broad objectives I was looking to accomplish throughout this project was to reduce food insecurity throughout the community, as well as learn more about agricultural systems and how they can impact the world hunger crisis. Throughout my experience at the garden, I harvested produce such as lettuce, radishes, moringa, and then delivered these goods to the Gladiolus Food Pantry, as well as cleaned up the garden in its entirety by rooting and picking up loose leaves. The two elements of civic engagement I most feel applied to the experience I had at Camps Memorial Garden were associating and serving. I feel this way because of the relationships I built with my fellow volunteers, as well as the cause for which I was volunteering. Overall, I had a great experience volunteering at the garden, and my civic engagement project increased my awareness of the ways in which you can provide food to a deprived community, as well as the process of growing food in which I have never been exposed to before. After completing my project, I feel the most important takeaway that others should know is how serious food deprivation is and how it is affecting our community, and also just how easy it is to get involved in fighting against hunger, whether it be donating foods, growing food, then donating, or even supporting organizations such as Camps Memorial Garden.
Hey guys, for my project, I chose to focus my community issue to climate change and its effects on Southwest Florida. Statistically, it says that 21.3% of Naples is expected to be underwater by 2100, I believe. My community partner is Kathy Buswick at Lakes Park, and she's been over there for over 10 years. She's amazing. She's always there She's retired, just wants to help the community and keep it nice. They were actually, they couldn't accept any volunteers. They weren't even volunteering during the corona. So when they came back, they had a lot of more work to do. I chose a garden because it can help with environmental impacts. It can reduce noise and air pollution. It can reduce transportation costs. It provides homes to animals. I feel like it all intertwines. So that's why I thought the perfect thing would be a garden. I feel like one of the major successes was even being able to volunteer for them. I feel like even if you do something small, it makes a change. One of the roadblocks would definitely be the time. I just feel like especially for this project, I feel like there wasn't enough time for me to explain my long-term impact that I would have had. One skill of civic engagement that I definitely feel like I utilized was critical thinking. Climate change really just is bigger than we realize. Climate change can affect the food that we have on our table. Climate change is affecting our oceans. Our ocean absorbs 30% of carbon dioxide. So if you think about it, the more pollution we're putting into the air, we're just making our oceans more acidic. I definitely feel like I learned a lot from this project, especially educating myself on climate change and educating others. I feel like that's the whole point of this project, is just to take that step forward and just educate others on how to help our planet and how to make it a better place. There's just so many things that climate change affects, and it will affect in our daily lives if we don't make a difference right now. I believe I helped my community partner a lot too, just by being there and giving her a helping hand. And I just hope everyone just gets a little vision of what climate change can do to our world. And I really hope that motivates people into cleaning our beaches, gardening, recycling, whatever the case may be, anything to do with just helping our planet and making it a better place, because that was just the whole point of this project.
Hi everyone, for my project I wanted to address habitat loss and species protection in Southwest Florida. My community partner was Shy Wolf Sanctuary. Addressing habitat loss is really important to Southwest Florida because a lot of our biodiversity is lost when we lose habitats and lose species, and habitat loss is the #1 cause of species extinction. The objective was to spread awareness about habitat loss and ecological importance, while also teaching people about the importance of biodiversity in our environment. One of my goals in my project was also to create a habitat for animals where they could find peace from habitat destruction and possible poachers. At Shy Wolf Sanctuary, I had the opportunity to create a safe environment for a new wolf to find peace and have a healthy and safe home by maintaining and cleaning a new and healthy enclosure for it. The biggest roadblocks I faced doing my project was that I felt like there was hardly enough time to get across with everything I wanted to do, and also it was a lot hard during COVID to figure out how to get to my community partner and make sure that everyone felt safe and comfortable in that environment with the pandemic going on. What I really noticed with my community partner is there was a lot of good leadership going on. I talked about this a lot in my project, but the leadership at Shy Wolf really made me feel welcome and open in the environment I was in. The skills I had to utilize a lot was problem solving, like coming across problems when it came to COVID or came to visitors and things like that. I had to use problem solving a lot also when it came to the enclosure. An example I used in my paper was that we had to cut a fence in order to make it to where the wolf wouldn't cut his hands on it, and there weren't any wire cutters, so we had to find scissors to use, although that didn't work the best, but we just had to figure things out along the way. Like my community partner, there's Shy Wolf Sanctuary, as I've said. Most people there were really great. It was a really great experience, and I definitely learned a lot.
Hi guys. The community-based issue that I researched was hunger in Southwest Florida. According to a 2016 study by Feeding America, 13.4% of Southwest Floridians may be food insecure, and the coronavirus has more than likely exacerbated that. There's probably a lot more than that nowadays. My community partner, Harry Chapman Food Bank, that I worked with, helps fill the gap for people who may not have enough money at the end of the month and people who might just be struggling for food. Our group sustainability development goal was to focus life on land, and the Harry Chapman Food Bank helps contribute to this by rescuing produce from local farmers. I encountered some roadblocks while I was doing this project, and one of them was I didn't have as much time due to work constraints to volunteer as much as I would have liked to, but I did For my project, I learned more about the Harry Chapman Food Bank and worked with the volunteer coordinator, Lori Harrington. And so the civically engaged skills that I think I most learned about or developed with this project was critical thinking. I always had thought of hunger as like a global issue or outside of America type issue, maybe in Africa or another continent. However, after my project, I look at hunger as an issue from a different perspective, and it's more local and U.S. based. What I learned from this project and our class as a whole is that there are a lot of ways that me and you and everybody else can be actually engaged in their community, and that issues we may think are global, such as hunger, might actually just be local and hit close to home. It could be your neighbor who might be hungry. It could be a friend that might be hungry that we don't know of, but they just might not be telling you. Plus, we should be more individualistic and think about other ways that we can leave an impact on here on Earth, even if it's something small as like contributing a little bit of money or going out and volunteering and helping, such as at the Harry Chapman Food Bank and lots of other organizations that we can be civically engaged in.